Chapter 1. Fun with Polymer Clay. Welcome to Fun with Polymer Clay. If you are interested in learning all about how to make birds, flowers, and other pretty things with clay, you have picked up the right book. This book will be your tutorial to a variety of polymer clay projects. I started making things out of polymer clay after seeing the lovely pendants my sister would make. I got jealous and naturally had to try this craft out for myself. For my very first project, I was jittery. What if I messed up? But I fell in love with how easy and forgiving polymer clay is. If I messed up, I could just start over again for double the fun. It was easy on my wallet and fun to learn. Now, I want to bring this wonderful craft straight to you with this book. Consider this your introduction to the wonderful and fun world of polymer clay crafting. There is no limit to what you can do with polymer clay. It is a safe, non-toxic form of plastic clay that you can use to get wild colors and pretty designs that you only dreamed of before. You will learn how to make small trinkets, hair clips, pendants or beads, buttons, Christmas ornaments, magnets, rocks, earrings. That isn't all though. You will also get tons of cool craft ideas. I offer some sources of inspiration, as well as a few instructional projects for crafts using this great material. What makes polymer clay worth learning? For one thing, it is incredibly versatile. With just a little baking and a lot of creativity, you can have tons of fun with it. You can achieve hundreds of different projects. Your imagination is truly the limit. If you can't imagine it, then visit Pinterest, and you will get tons of ideas. Another thing is that it is easier to work with, store, and bake than regular clay. You can cure it to last forever without investing in an expensive kiln. Storing it is as simple as keeping it in a plastic bag out of the sun. It is also pretty cheap. You can find tons of colors for low prices. The materials you need to accompany the craft are few and inexpensive too. You don't need to buy out the whole clay aisle at your local craft store. You can get by with a simple resin, a sewing needle, and your fingers. Polymer clay is safe for your kids and pets too, so no matter who you live with, you can rest assured that your pastime won't harm anyone. There are no malignant odors or huge messes. This clay can potentially get messy, but it won't stain every surface or leach toxic fumes into your living space. Finally, it is easy to acquire, and since polymer clay is very popular, you will surely find polymer clay buddies to make art with. You can find instructional videos, step-by-step guides, helpful blogs, and how-tos all over the internet, so you have more resources than this book. Polymer clay can be different for everyone, so make it your own with some innovation, experimentation, trial and error, and research. Now you can create your own items out of clay instead of buying them, and you will have a fun new hobby to enjoy yourself, with your friends, or with your kids. What is polymer clay like? Polymer clay is a modeling clay. It is made from a plastic polymer called polyvinyl chloride for extra pliability and moldability. It is soft, smooth, workable, and malleable. Between your fingers, it will feel dry and smooth and easy to work with. It comes in a variety of colors, usually bright, unnatural colors. You can buy it in blocks or sticks. This clay is made for crafting. It is used for making designs and crafts ranging from pendants to beads to little trinkets. After molding it into the shape you want, you add glaze or wax and bake it to harden it. The final product will be stiff, shiny, and fairly permanent. In this book, you will learn how to do all sorts of things and make all sorts of crafts with this clay. The great thing about this clay is that it is not wet. This makes it easier to work with. Plus, there is minimal mess involved. You might get some crumbles or shavings, and you may even stain impressionable surfaces with the dyes in this stuff, but usually you won't have much mess. It is also beginner-friendly. You won't need to worry about colors bleeding together or baking it wrong and having your pottery turn out horribly. It is a forgiving and fun craft to take part in. How do I use polymer clay? Using polymer clay is excellent for beginners who want to create amazing and pretty crafts with minimal effort. You will use it much like Play-Doh, molding it into shapes and then baking it to harden the piece. The first step is to work your clay to soften it with warmth and the oil in your hands. A rolling pin is also useful to flatten your clay and then work it. The next is to mold it. There are all sorts of techniques you can use for this. You can even use a mold if desired. Next, you will brush on a glass glaze or wood glue to add shine. Bake it, and then let it cool. Alternatively, you can rub wax all over it for a natural sheen rather than a shine after curing. From there, add findings. You need to make your piece final. You might add hooks to attach your piece to a Christmas ornament, earring, or necklace. You might punch a hole in it to use as a bead or pendant. Or you might glue on other clay pieces or leave your piece alone to create a trinket. What is the history of polymer clay? Polymer is based on bakelite, an early plastic. There were problems with the phenol base of this material, however, as it was flammable and caused fires. It was eventually discontinued, but crafters still wanted a similar product. One of the earliest formulations for the polymer clay we have today was introduced by Käthe Kruse in 1939. Kruse was a German doll maker whose daughter used her formula as a modeling clay. She sold her formulation to Eberhard Faber, who sold it as Fimo. Polymer clay is made using a PVC resin and a liquid plasticizer. Technically, it is considered a plastisol or plastigel. This clay will turn into a liquid under enough pressure before turning back into a solid when the pressure is removed. Heat will solidify it. Air generally won't affect it, though being in the sun can leach away its color and dry it out, making it less pliable. Mineral oil is often added to it to make it more pliable for craft use. This clay is available in countless colors. It can even be translucent, fluorescent, metallic, sparkly, or pearlescent. Look online or in your local craft store for a huge variety of clays. You can mix clays to change colors too. Is polymer clay toxic? Recently, my cat got into my clay and ate a few chunks. I was horrified, but it turns out that my cat was safe. Polymer clay is largely considered safe and non-toxic. It does not leave behind a toxic residue even when baked, and it does not kill people or pets who accidentally eat it. It does not release fumes when baked or when you work with it. There is no need to leave the windows open as you work with it, and you can work with it in the presence of babies, pets, or little kids. Polymer clay is made with a mixture of non-toxic plasticizers. All current brands are free of the toxic kind of plasticizers that this clay used to contain. Therefore, it is relatively safe for human exposure. The U.S. has banned the toxic plasticizer that contains endocrine-disrupting phthalates. You will not find it in any clay brands currently. But polymer clay does release a fume when it is heated. It releases hydrogen chloride. This gas is not really toxic, but you should not inhale it in a closed space. It is caustic and can burn your lungs. Generally, if you have a well-ventilated kitchen and are baking your clay in minimal amounts, you won't encounter any problems with hydrogen chloride. Polymer clay will retain its color in many situations. You can even run it through the dishwasher and it should hold up. However, exposing it to bleach or other sanitizers can leach its color and render it useless. This is why you should not let it mix with food or food plates and cutlery. You need to use tools that are designated for the clay to prevent contaminating your clay. The FDA had not tested this clay for use in food utensils. It is therefore hard to say that it is safe for use with food. However, you should not use polymer clay for food-grade utensils or dishes simply because you will not be able to sanitize it properly with bleach or other cleaners. In addition, most of the resins and waxes used with this clay is not safe for food-grade materials. These resins may also fall apart when being cleaned,